My thriller film idea is called Hands. It starts with a girl being took to a mental hospital as she is hallucinating, seeing dead hands everywhere that she goes. They lock her in a cell when she gets to the hospital with it's like blank, dull walls, and it has one window on the door. She just sits there at first and she's hearing the screams of other patients and listening to what's going on around her. And then she comes across normal, like she's not strange, and she doesn't seem like mentally ill or anything, she just seems normal. And then the guards turn the lights off in the hospital and the mood turns very uncomfortable. She hears banging on her cell door, and then suddenly a hand slams against the small window. She scurries back but realises the room is a small box and she can't go anywhere. So she stands facing the corner of the room so she can't see what's going on behind her or through the window. Then a hand grabs her ankle and she is pulled onto the floor. She's in hysterics and she is hysterically screaming and crying, and she passes out due to exhaustion. The next day she has a meeting with her doctor, and she tells him that she isn't crazy and that what she's seeing is real because she's felt it on her leg and stuff. And basically he laughs at her and's like, okay, you need to go back now, I'm going to fix you. So she goes back and the events that she's experiencing keep happening over and over again, and they're gradually getting worse and she's getting more upset about it, and she's finding bruises and scratches and handprints all over her body. And then one night as she's drifting off to sleep, the door swings open but nothing's there, and she doesn't move, she doesn't go out to see what it is, she just sits and she stares at this door and it's silent until you see like fingers like going on the door like this, and then a figure appears in the doorway and she's in such a state of shock, so it's like a ventilation thing, she opens it and she climbs through it. She starts to crawl to get away from her room because she's so scared, but the figure closes it so she can't go back, she can only go forward, but she doesn't mind because she doesn't want to go back into her room because she's really freaked out. So she starts to climb through the tunnels in the prison to get away from him, and she sees all of the disturbed people in these rooms through the little cracks of the thing. She sees them screaming and it's quite eerie and scary, and since she's distracted by watching these people, she gets dragged out by this figure, and she's on the floor and she's a bit wheezy because she's banged her head and stuff, and she looks around, she realises it's a torturing chamber, and there's pictures of her all over the walls, there's loads of knives, and she looks up and there's limbs like arms, legs, hands hanging from the ceiling. And then she gets manhandled and sellotaped to this bed, the hospital bed, and the guy takes off his mask and she realises it's her doctor, and then basically he tortures her, he cuts off her hands and he kills her, and he throws her hands onto a pile of loads of hands. Then he takes down all of her pictures and he puts up another picture of another girl, and the story ends when he looks out of the window and there's a white van pulls up like at the beginning, and there's another girl that's getting took into the hospital. So at the end the audience will realise that she was not crazy and she was actually seeing and feeling real hands, what the doctor had planted to make her look crazy, and so he could get the thrill of killing her. The end.